Ivanka Trump donned one of her most beloved prints this morning as she headed out to work in a plaid coat. The senior White House advisor, 36, was seen heading out of her house in Washington, D.C. around 7:45 this morning, getting an early start to her workday. She paired her gray coat, which had large, white buttons and plaid shoulder flaps, with black pants tucked into leather boots. The boots, with a thick high heel, featured laces going up the bottom half of the shoes. With her plaid coat, the former model returned to a pattern she has often favored, and has worn on tops, dresses and skirts over the past few months. Ivanka was ready to face the cool DC temperatures and buttoned her coat all the way up in addition to carrying a pair of black gloves in her left hand. She kept her eyes trained in front of her for most of the short walk between her house and the upscale neighborhood of Kalorama to the parked Secret Service vehicle waiting for her at the end of her driveway. Her husband and fellow White House advisor, Jared Kushner, 36, left about 20 minutes before his wife this morning. He stuck to his classics by wearing a dark suit and tie, and grinned widely at the camera as he went down the stairs. Yesterday, Ivanka cut a festive silhouette as she left for work this morning in a scarlet pantsuit. She paired the suit with a simple black turtleneck and her trademark 5-inch black stilettos, and carried her matching coat on her arm as she walked towards the Secret Service SUV waiting for her outside of her house. Ivanka wore her hair down on her shoulders in a classic blowout, and finished her outfit with a tiny black purse. She smiled as she departed her house in the upscale neighborhood of Kalorama and glanced at the camera before stepping inside the SUV. The mother of 3 is currently back in D.C. after traveling to her hometown of New York City on Monday for a Fox and Friends interview. She returned to Washington on Monday evening, in time to celebrate the 7th night of Hanukkah with her family yesterday evening. Ivanka took to Instagram to share a photo of herself with her husband and fellow senior White House advisor Jared Kushner, 36, posing in front of their limonores with their children Arabella, 6, Joseph, 4, and Theodore, 1. The first daughter held her youngest son in her arms while Jared picked up Joseph in a joyful Arabella posed with her arms spread out. Since her move to Washington in the early days of the Trump administration, Ivanka has spoken very little about her conversion to Judaism before she married Jared. Despite this, she has been very active on Instagram with regards to her faith, and has shared several festive pictures over the past week. Earlier on Monday, Ivanka was pictured leaving Fox and Friends, smiling at the few passers-by who had gathered to witness her exit. The senior White House advisor wore a form-fitting blue dress and kept her hair down in a slick blow-dry during the interview, which focused on the GOP's proposed tax plan. By the time she left Fox's studios in New York City's Midtown, Ivanka appeared to have completely changed her clothes, and cut an all-black silhouette, save for a few details. She donned a pair of quirky black shoes with kitten heels and straps made out of rows of white pearls, and had a white Peter Pan collar peeking out at the top of her outfit. Ivanka wore her hair in a low ponytail tied with a long, flowy black ribbon. She waved as she exited the studios and walked towards her parked car, and acknowledged the handful of children and adults who were taking her photo nearby. Ivanka appeared to be in a sunny disposition, perhaps excited to be back in New York City, which she left for D.C. after her father became president and she and Jared both took on senior roles in his administration. Fox's headquarters in New York City are located just a 13-minute walk away from Trump Tower, where Ivanka's brand opened a new store just last week. During her interview on Fox and Friends yesterday morning, Ivanka said Republicans are on track to approve tax cuts before the end of the month. In business, until it's done it's not done, but we feel very, very confident, so the momentum is there. We're very excited, she said. When the vote is done, we'll be done, but we're going to deliver historic tax reforms, and it's going to happen before Christmas. The Senate passed the tax plan early on Wednesday morning, and the House is poised to back it later today. Republicans in Congress have argued that the reform is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to fix a tax code that stifles business investment, keeps trillions in corporate profits languishing overseas and slows the American economy.